Goodness gracious, what a world we live. All right, so driving home yesterday from work, I stopped at the gas station to get some gas. And this particular gas station, I had to go inside. The pump wasn't working, and I had to give my debit card to the said person behind the counter. And as I gave my card and the transaction was processed, when it was over, the person behind the counter said, "Happy holidays." And I really didn't think twice about it. And I just instinctually said, "Merry Christmas." And the guy looked at me and he said, "What did you say?" And I said, "Merry Christmas." He said, "Why would you say that to me?" And I'm thinking, oh boy, is there anybody around? And there was no one. It was just me and him. And I honestly, I didn't do it to taunt him. It just came out. It was very, as a matter of fact, I didn't mean anything by it. And then what came out of his mouth, he said, "That's very offensive to me." And I found myself getting in that place of, all right, well, maybe we need to talk about this a little bit, but I didn't. I just said, "I'm sorry you're offended," and I walked out. And it bothered me the whole drive home. I relived that in my head. Okay, how could I have done that differently? Did that really happen? What's up with culture? I was reading statistics earlier today. 90% of those in this country that were polled said it's Christmas. It's a national holiday, Christmas Day. And yet here we are. Now, look, the guy behind the counter may have been having a tough day. I'm not going to sit here and do anything other than kind of share a little bit of the story. Although I wanted to tell you, he has a little name tag on. I'm not going to say his name was Trent or anything like that. But, I mean, really. So it got me thinking last night. When I hear this conversation, is there a war on Christmas? And so I'm inviting you to call the program. And I've got a little bit more of what I want to share about this interaction. But 888-52 talks. We're 2 weeks away from Christmas Day. And we live in a time of this inclusivity mindset, right? Like somehow if you go with happy holidays, somehow that's going to take care of the folks that are offended by Merry Christmas. And I'm thinking, well, but that's not true. There are people that don't celebrate holidays, right? There are some people of certain faiths that don't celebrate Christmas. They don't even celebrate birthdays. So is not this attempt to be inclusive to the few and far between? And listen to me. I'm falling all over myself trying to just convey this happy holidays nonsense stuff. And I'll tell you, I go to this gas station a lot. So I'm going to see Trent again. I can't wait till the next time I walk in there. He probably won't remember me, but if he says happy holidays to me again, I'm not going to go happy holidays back to you. So any thoughts on this? Have you had any interaction up until now? And is it being overstated when you hear, is there a war on Christmas? I'd love to hear from you. 888-52 talks are the numbers. And the sooner you call, the quicker you'll get in. The board will fill up rather quickly. 888-52-TALKS, which is, if you are keeping score, 528-2557. 888-528-2557. Let me share one last thought, and then we'll take some calls. When Trent said happy holidays to me, I wasn't even looking at him. I was just grabbing my receipt, and on the way out the door. And literally, when I walked away, I said, Merry Christmas, just nicely. And he said, hey. I turned around. He said, it's Happy Holidays. And I'm thinking, I guess there are some people that are a bit vigilant about pushing this Happy Holidays mindset. Let me share one of my suspicions on this whole idea of being offended. And again, the phone lines are open, 888-52-TALKS, 888-52-TALKS, 888-528-2557. If you have any thoughts on the Happy Holidays versus Merry Christmas or Happy Kwanzaa or whatever, right? But here's the other thing I was thinking about last night driving home. Okay, so good old Trent was really offended. He said that to me. That's offensive to me. And what almost came out of my mouth, and I don't think it was the Holy Spirit, I think I stopped myself from saying, well, I don't give a rip if you're offended. I mean, to be offended, doesn't that imply a certain level of narcissism? Like, well, goodness gracious, let's just all stop down and let's just all be sensitive to you being offended. And I mean, it's our culture. It's a me culture, right? If I say I'm offended, well, you better take notice. Well, what if your offense is not warranted? We live in a country where 90% of the people identified in a recent poll say they have no problem with Merry Christmas. So what? The country is supposed to go, no, we can't say it because 10% of the population may be offended? And that's way overstating it. Here's what it is. If we can really cut to the chase, there are some people that hate God. In any time, we little Christian pull out our Merry Christmas, it offends them because we have the audacity to say, well, we believe in the creator of the universe. We don't believe in ourselves, if you will, because that's what it is, right? We commemorate the birth of Christ. Merry Christmas. And look, honestly, I have no problem with other faiths saying what they may say. I believe if you go to Israel, I think on Friday nights, Shabbat, I think it's Shabbat Shalom. And what, am I going to be offended because I'm not Jewish? That's predominantly what they say in Israel. And so, Trent, you're a gift to me because I really literally spent all night thinking about it and praying about it. Then I get up today and I look at perspective stories, and there's one on Christian Post, The War on Christmas. Is Rudolph really the worst? And it's this Huffington Post story that I saw last night as well. That somehow Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, there's a video campaign which is entitled, Just a Reminder, Everyone in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was the worst. And it calls out Santa and Donner and the elves, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And then the tagline, quote, deviation from the norm will be punished unless it is exploitable. So you're going to be punished if you say Merry Christmas. And Trent, my brother, I love you. It's a good thing I'm a Christian because we would have continued the conversation a little bit further than what it was. 888-52-TALKS, 888-528-2557. Do you have any thoughts on Merry Christmas versus Happy Holidays? Is there a war on Christmas? And how do